Hi, I'm Mac. We all know that our electricity systems are rapidly decarbonising, and there's quite a few problems that come with that. In particular, renewable sources make balancing demand with generation harder because their output can't be controlled or perfectly predicted. This balance has to be perfect because power systems don't have significant amounts of storage. To deal with any mismatches, the operator procures reserves, which are effectively power sources that can be quickly turned up or down. So, in our green future, we're going to need more reserves, and we're going to source them from diverse providers like electric vehicles or smart devices. These sources rely on aggregating large numbers of individual devices, resulting in uncertainty over the exact amount of reserves they can provide. In my PhD, I'm trying to find a method so that the system operator can optimally allocate reserve under this uncertainty, whilst maintaining a high level of reliability. And end.
The system operator's job is to keep the lights on by ensuring the security of electrical grids against possible contingency scenarios by running dynamic simulations ahead of operation time. However, running these simulations is both time and resource expensive, and operating scenarios expanding exponentially with difficult to predict renewable energy on the grid. Machine learning approaches have been proposed providing the ability to partially assess the security of the system with pre-trained classifiers. The question is, how do we generate this data to pre-train the classifiers? One approach is to use historical data to fit a statistical model to generate the data. However, historical data is heavily skewed towards the safe class, and this can bias the classifier in training. Another approach is to uniformly sample from the entire space, exploit the knowledge of the sample space architecture, complex network theory to find the relevant samples. However, uniform sampling is very inefficient and the physical space is very large and unconvex. And sampling smartly can provide us a very good representative database. The question is crafted in finding an innovative and rigorous way to generate data for dynamic security assessment using machine learning.
While we all know that extreme weather from climate change and growing urbanization are making cities more and more vulnerable to loss of electric power and damage to energy infrastructure, the resilience is the ability of the energy system to provide and maintain an acceptable level of service in the face of various challenges to normal operation. So, enhancing or boosting the resilience of multi-energy systems and in the small-scale multi-energy microgrids can be seen like decreasing the area of the trapezoid. But how? We can use the distributed energy resources within the microgrids like solar and wind power and combined heat and electricity. By establishing resilient local systems, we want to provide resilience of energy supply and also flexibility and services to support the national infrastructure.
Driven by the ecological transition, renewable resources are more and more integrated into the electrical network, and their proportion keeps increasing compared to the traditional synchronous generators. Most of these new generators, called distributed generation, are connected to the grid through power electronic devices. However, the grid control and stability strategies heavily rely on the inertia and other properties of the old synchronous generators. So as the penetration of renewables and thus of power converters increases, the stability and strength of the grid is at risk. To mitigate it, this research focuses on how converters could be controlled in a network with few synchronous generators such that the stability of the grid is maintained, how the different control strategies impact the quality of the power supply, and how these different types of controller could interact with each other to allow a high penetration of distributed generation and therefore a satisfactory transition into cleaner sources of energy.
Wind turbine technology have evolved over the years, with installed capacity increasing consistently from only 1.9 GW in 1990 to about 651 GW today. Despite this success, the integration of large-scale wind farms to grid remains technically challenging. To begin to understand and find solutions to these challenges, models of wind farm is needed for grid integration studies. Modeling of individual components of wind turbines are non-linear and complex, resulting in high-order models of wind farms which are difficult to compute or simulate. Though various techniques have been used to simplify the models of wind farms in literature, they all have their limitations. My research explores new simplification techniques that can produce robust reduced-order models that is less complex, yet accurately describes the input-output behaviors of systems and can be used for speedy assessment of power system stability, design, and control.
Hello everyone, my research topic is wind farm modeling and control. Wind farm is a group of wind turbines that convert wind energy into electrical energy. These wind farms are traditionally modeled as single machine or aggregated machine models. But with the introduction of power electronic converters, the time frame of dynamics has reached the order of microsecond to millisecond. So we have detailed models and control algorithms with fast dynamic response. But practically, this has led to interactions between various control loops within the wind farm. One such instance is 2019 UK blackout. Following the lightning strike, subsynchronous oscillations were observed in the wind farm as a result of interactions between two of its control loops. This has led to unnecessary tripping of the wind farm from the power system and further led to a large-scale blackout. So my research objective is to analyze the causes and effects of these oscillations and come up with a control methodology to suppress these oscillations. Thank you.
Hi. So I've just had to rebook the same flight for the third time in the last 3 months just to see my family. The future comes with a lot of uncertainty, and the same is true in power systems. Take the uptake of electric vehicles, for example. We know they will increase demand, but where, when, how, and how much? There are two established methods for decision-making under uncertainty: stochastic optimization and robust optimization. In addition, the planner can choose to minimize expected costs or maximum regret. We know quite a bit about these approaches and their individual limitations, but we don't know enough about how they compare in practice, what drives investment in smart technologies, and how does the choice of method affect investment decisions. In its first stage, my research will answer these questions. In the second, I will build onto these established models to address some of their limitations to machine learning. We're witnessing progress towards decarbonization, which is wonderful, but it comes with a long list of engineering and market challenges. Power networks must evolve to facilitate these changes, and so do the planning methodologies. Thank you.
Hi everyone. As we all are aware that future UK power sector will be dominated by renewables, that involves considerable challenges such as the uncertain nature of renewables and frequency deviation. Frequency deviation occurs when there is generation demand imbalance in the system. So to ensure system stability, system operator will require to schedule frequency services such as storage, demand side response, etc. to restore the power equilibrium in the system. For my research, I will be using frequency constrained stochastic unit commitment model for scheduling and co-optimizing flexibility technologies in the system to reduce the cost and emissions while assuring system security. Co-optimization of frequency services is a crucial and challenging task as it is a trade-off between improved market efficiency and increased system complexity. Therefore, understanding the value of provision of flexibility technologies is required to inform the market operators the value of investing in these services, hence assess the revenue they can obtain from providing such services.